Welcome to Field of Dreams on NCBNTT. I'm Steve David and I'm your host. We talk football today and we go back deep. They came, they passed, they came to pass. This team came and is still going. And let me take time and help me to introduce San Fernando Giants. And I have with me
Nicholas GOPAUL.
Nicholas GOPAUL. Welcome to the set, Nicholas.
Thank you. Good morning, Steve.
All right. You know, you guys go back some 70-something years.
This year is 74, next year is 75.
And the big anniversary is coming up.
Yes.
And tell us a little bit about what's going to happen.
Well, we are in the process of planning that for next year. We haven't, we are so concerned about what's happening now in the season that we have not really sat down. I feel when the season is completed, we will then look into that some more and plan it properly. But we want to be able to get like players who, from the past, coming home and, you know, have a big celebration.
People out there wondering who is San Fernando Giants. Is that the name, right? And they probably don't even know about the SFA and SFL. And take us back a little background as how the club started.
The club was started in 1950. It was under Lantern Giants. There was a restaurant on the coffee that was called Lantern, and some gentlemen got together. One of our executive members, presently his father was one of the founding members, Nolly Blackman. There's also somebody that we call youth, but his name is Terry Curtis Senior. So they all got together in South and decided to have this. Then we moved to Coffee Giants, and then we became, based on sponsorship, we changed our name slightly. So sometimes we were called Hyundai Giants because Hyundai had sponsored us. And then when we became a city in San Fernando, that's how we changed it to San Fernando Giants Football Club here.
You probably woke up a lot of sleeping giants when you said Lantern Giants because oh yeah. I forgot they used to be called Lantern Giants back in the day in the 70s, right?
That's correct, yep.
Some of the people who went through that process, are you aware of who?
Well, some, not all, but like I said, when we started, it was started with Nolly Lieberg, Terry Curtis, and later on, then Alvin came into the picture, Dr. Henderson. He took over somewhere in the 80s, if I remember correctly. Obviously, at that time, we were all players in the team, and he basically coached the team for 30 years. And then a guy by the name of Jeffrey Alexander, who is our current president, he took over from there. Then I started to get into it a little bit. And then we had Dunstan Williams, who is presently our technical director. He and I coached in 2017 after that, because Jeff had moved on. Then in 2019, Brian Williams and Kerry and myself, we started coaching. Well, actually, Brian and them started coaching from 2018, and then we went on into 2019, where we won the league, the Ascension League, that is. And then, well, you know, COVID came, and then last year Sean started, but because of national duties, he could not have continued. That's Sean Cooper.
Right.
So I took back the role of head coach again, and until now.
I know it's probably tough for you to go back in the day, but I want to put some smile on some of the old timers' face who've been with it. Like, who are some of the players, like, maybe that you can remember?
There are so many. Leonson Lewis.
Okay.
He played for Giants. He actually played with Alvin. There's Hannibal Naja, Dunstan Williams. A good friend of mine is called Lalo, but his name is original Lalchan. But his name is Lalo. He was a standout for Naparima. Faris Khan, Dexter Lopez, the list is long. Curtis Emmanuel, Anthony Clark, Sean Edwards, which is Bushy. the late Neverson, Nigel Neverson. It's a really, really long list. Nicholas Baldwin, Odell Fitzallen, who's our present captain. We could talk for about 3 hours here naming that list. It's a long, long, long list.
Well, I'm sitting here smiling. I'm sitting smiling when I say go back and you went with Leonson Lewis. I talk about Jeff Lewis, who was Lewis's dad, and John Allen and these guys.
Yeah, John Allen was a big deal because he and Alvin used to go to a lot of meetings together. They always were going up the highway to go to meetings at that time because it's not like our SFA is now. They would always be going up the road, you know. But we spent years in SFA because it's only in 2018 Giants came up to the Super League. The rest of the time, we were always in the SFA, you know, and we have won it many times. But, you know, it's up and down. You know, you win sometimes one year, then you lose. Then, like in the 70s, we won that about 4 times in a row. Then in the 80s, we won it a couple of times and we went down. Then we won it again once in 2000. And then in 2015, we won it. We won all 3 titles SFA had. And from then to now is when Giants started to pick back up, so to speak. Because in the last 9 years, between 2015 to now, I think we won about 6 to 7 trophies.
Yeah. And some of the people who are looking at us now doesn't realize that Lantern Giants, which is Giants now, San Fernando Giants, they played in the SFA, which is the Southern Football Association.
Correct.
And we had the SFL, Southern Football League. And they used to have not intergroup, but what do you call it, league football. And they would pick an all-star team to play against SFL or PSFL and different things like that. Do you remember all that?
I probably was very young at that time.
Oh, you heard about it?
Yeah, I would not dare to. I am still a young guy, so at that time, going back, when I started with Giants, there was only SFA. And I was 28 at the time when I started to play for the club because I was living in Port of Spain, married, and then I came back down, you know. I started back when I was 28 because, you know, once you're living in Port of Spain and you're working in Port of Spain, you're coming home at a particular time, so you wouldn't be able to play. So I was very glad when, you know, I came back.
So San Fernando is your home. And okay, so let's start talking about the era that you know. So when you came, they had a SFA still going on.
Yeah.
And Lantern Giants was the name, or
no, it was when it was Hyundai Giants, and then just a couple of years after that, it became San Fernando Giants. I'm trying to remember when we became a city, what year that was. That will tell you exactly when Giants became San Fernando Giants. Yeah.
And strange enough, a person, Alvin Henderson, was on the organization at that.
He was running everything, actually. He was coaching. Alvin did nearly everything for this club. And I think that, kudos must be given to him because he kept this club going for the 30 years that he was there. You know, now he's taking a back seat, which we all understand, but he is still vibrant and we would still love him to still be a part of it, you know. But we get why it is he wants to relax, you know. He's the same age with the club too, you know.
Okay. Yeah. So did he play? Did Alvin play for?
Yeah, he in the beginning when he came to San Fernando, he started playing with Giants, and then later on he started being a player coach, and then he coached. Because he and Leonson, remember I said that he and Leonson played together for I think it was 1 year or maybe 2.
For the San Fernando Giants. Okay. All right, so Alvin, keep it alive. Kudos to Alvin. Heads up to Alvin. Thank you, Alvin. So, all right, so now you guys planning some big celebration or big birthday bash for Giants, and tell us a little bit about that.
Well, like I said before, for me right now is major concentration on the league we in. Alvin and the executive have been looking into this, but they will, I think when this season finish, they will start to really plan for not 1975, for the 75 years, right? Definitely that will be a big deal, because like I said, they want all the foreign players to come back, because what was happening when Giants was back in the days, we still try to do it now, but it was more when we were younger. We got scholarship for players in the US. Yeah. That was a big thing. A lot of the players, like the other day, one of the players I forgot to call just now was Darryl Springer, another player who played for Naps. So like just the other day, Darryl was home, right? So he's one of the players who was given scholarships. So they went away and, they did well, and they came back home, and then they would go back, and anything that the club need, to be honest, these players from outside helps.
Yeah, well, and you guys kept your name. I can point, we had UBOT that became Shell, and then Shell became Civic Center, but you guys have kept your Giants name, but league. You see, we have stayed in this SFL and until it went dormant. But the SFA is what running South football now. But you guys, do you have a team in that league?
Presently, no, and that is something that we want to bring. We want to be able to have it as a feeder to the Super League team. But we are still members of SFA. We still pay our dues to be members of SFA. You understand? So that is something that between this year and next year we are actually looking into, whether it's a under 20 or maybe a under 23 team. So as I said, we use that as a feeder for the Super League team.
So you left SFA when you guys decided to go Super League then?
Yeah, in 2018 we became a Super League team.
And prior to that you were
always
SFA?
SFA, yeah.
Right. And there is no other club in the Southern Football Association that still exists
not with the amount of years that we have, but there's also Club Sando now, right? And I think Club Sando is, I could be wrong, but I think Club Sando is about 25 years. Maybe it might be a little bit more than that. That's Eddie and them.
Yeah, they played in the SFA?
Yeah, Eddie and them, they have a team in the Super League as well. And then, of course, well, you know this, they play at the Pro League, yeah.
Okay, yeah, but I knew they were, but I didn't realize they were in the SFA. Because SFA is still running as a league.
Correct.
Probably one of the oldest league running as well, because SFL doesn't exist anymore.
No.
So we have SFA in South, Central maybe, or Port of Spain. Port of Spain Football League don't exist anymore. So they're probably the only league existing, SFA. And I don't know that for sure, people, so don't hold me to that. Okay, so planned celebration, we have anything big planned, like the city of San Fernando going to shut down and we're going to have a big parade or something?
Well,
celebrating?
To be honest, Steve, right now we have a lot of support from the current mayor in San Fernando. So when we are doing our plans, we will definitely look into that. You know, we have been recently given permission to use Skinner Park as a home ground, right, which is a big deal because we have played all our life in Skinner Park, you know, and it's a big thing, you know. It's the Mecca, you know, and so he definitely will be included when we are making our plans, you know, and I could publicly thank him so far for getting us back into the park, because he is one of the persons that wanted football to return to the park, you know, so that's a great thing to have the backing of the mayor.
Yeah, I mean, that whole league was run in Skinner Park.
That correct is right. An SFA office was at Skinner Park.
Yeah. Because in the Southern Football League, I mean, every team had a ground. And I always wonder how you guys did it. And sometimes it was a mud hole when there was a lot of rain and stuff, because everybody uses it.
Yeah, because when we went to, when Skinner Park had to go on renovations, it was a very challenging time for Giants. You know, I always say that I have two homes, living in San Fernando and the people of Labrie. Because in 2014, going into 2015, 2016, Labrie welcomed Giants into their home, and we were using that ground because we didn't have anywhere else. And that crew down there, Nicholas Baldwin, Miguel Payne, just to name a couple of guys, they were instrumental in us playing out there. And I mean, we got the results too, because we won every trophy that year in 2015. But over the years, we have had to go all over. We have been to St. Margaret's to train there. That's where W Connection used to train. Pleasance Park. Even over the last couple of years, we have been using Pleasance Park. You know, kudos to Iroy and the crew up there, because they and all have given permission. I mean, the one good thing is that we have fostered relationships with people over the years. And because of that, people are always welcoming when we ask, well, look, you know, so is the case. So it's always good to have these people, because, look, for example, last week when Pleasance Park got into the Republic Bank Youth Cup, they had to stop to fix the ground and stuff. So we could not train last week at the ground. And I called my good friend Camille at St. Margaret's, and he said, Nick, come. There's no problem with that, you know. So it's always good to have that and to have good relationships with people. And Giants has done that over the years.
I know the ground was pretty small in design for the new Skinner Park.
Well, what we did is that we went in and we had a look initially. It was a certain amount, but we were able to get it to 100 by 55.
Okay.
You know, yeah. Originally, some people were saying it was 95, but we were able to get it because Giants went in and met with the UDCOT people, and we sat down, we looked at it, and we asked them, you know. A guy by the name of Ravi, he's so helpful from UDCOT in Skinner Park, and we went in, we looked at it, and we said, look, this is it, and he measured it, and that was it.
Okay, Nicholas, let's take a break, but we when we come back, we will get into some more Giants football.
Okay.
Viewers, we'll be right back after the short break.
Trinbago Heritage, every Wednesday at 8 p.m. on NCBNTT Television Network. Trinbago Heritage, every Wednesday at 8 p.m. on NCBNTT Television Network.
Well, okay, welcome back, viewers. Sorry. For the ones who are now tuning in, you're looking at Field of Dreams on NCBNTT. I'm Steve David, the host of Field of Dreams, and I have with me Nicholas. And Nicholas is with San Fernando Jazz, coaches at San Fernando Jazz. So, Nicholas, we were talking before about all the good things Giants have done in the past, and they exist in the present, and we haven't even mentioned how the league they're playing in, how well they're doing. I want you to trump your horn, toot your horn into what is Giants is doing right now.
Well, presently we play in Tier 2. As you know, we have gone to Tier 1 and Tier 2. We are a Super League team. We joined in 2018. And as you know, well, in 2019, going into 2020, there was COVID. We came back out last year, and we finished in the way the tournament is the top 6. So we finished, I think we had finished about 4th, if I remembered right. And so in the quarterfinals, we lost to Petit Valley de Martin, who went on, I think, to be the finalists. So presently, we are tied with Petit Valley de Martin on the table right now after, I think they have played 9 games, we have played 8. But they're on top of us because of goal difference. It's a hard season, long season, you know, but the guys are working, and I think we are focused. I lost to my good friend on Saturday, Clayton. But we'll be bouncing back this week and getting ourselves organized because our next game is Defense Force.
You know, a lot of people sit and don't know the struggles or what it takes to keep a team financially in and active and all that. And Giants has never had a sponsor.
Well, we never had a full sponsor. We have had part when a good guy called Brian Gent, when he was at Massey and stuff like that, he got them to sponsor something. That's when we became Hyundai Giants. But presently, no, Giants doesn't have a sponsor. It's all about well wishers, you know, and we try to get what we have to do. We are hoping to get, you know, our executive have gotten bigger. Now we have Hannibal on it, which is a good thing. Coach Hannibal is a very, very good person. Together with myself, Dunstan, Alvin, Jeffrey Alexander, Roger Blackman, you know, so Nigel Clegon. So I hope I didn't leave anybody else. Or Bim Lala. Right, they are all on the executive. So we're trying to see what we can do. We would like to get some of the past players, both foreign and local, you know, because it is, at this level, it is very difficult when you just have a limited amount of people. You need more people on staff, and you need more people to help. See, like I even forgot Junior Fortune. He's also there too, and that's a past player as well.
And you need people with deep pockets.
Always, because of football.
Yeah.
You know, we do pay our stipend, our players a stipend, but, you know, just like anything, and I mean, even from just a coach standpoint, I would like them to get more. But it is what it is, you know, and it's fantastic if we get a sponsor, because I think the team would be different. Because we have a good group of guys mixed between youth and experience. Because one of your past players, I think he played at Civic, Andre Pacheco, right? And Andre is a well-rounded player. I think everybody knows where he has played, you know. So we have a good group there, you know. Odell is our captain, another person that played and with a lot of experience, you know, just to name a few, you know. But we have a good group of guys, and it's just about doing the work. We do the work, we get the results. I always say that. You know, when you stop doing the work is when you stop getting results, and then that puts you into problems, you know.
So your core group is probably older players, or
It's a mix. It's about, I would say right now our average age is about 28.
28?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a little experience with some youth.
Mm-hmm.
So it's either players who going out
Mm-hmm.
and the ones who's coming in.
Mm-hmm.
That makes up your core.
Mm-hmm.
Because the seasoned ones looking
Right.
for the
And
bigger money.
exactly. And if we get the SFA team going, then it will be a feeder too. You would get those players coming from there, and you could afford to choose whatever you want, you know.
Yeah, don't forget, from the time they leave school and they come out, they're looking for some dollars.
Mm-hmm.
This
Well,
is a new thing.
presently, one of our players made the national under 20 team, you know.
Okay.
Abiobi George, we just call him Abi.
Okay.
He's the number 8 for the national under 20 team. We're extremely proud of Abi. So that's a good thing. We have another guy, but he was injured when he just before he joined Giants, and I think eventually the national team would look at him. A fellow called Israel Joseph, a young guy, and he goes to Naprima. Very, very nice player as well.
You know, if I was to compare Giants with any club or organization, I would say Queen's Park.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, you guys have been running for a long time, and you like not own a city, but you guys represent San Fernando football.
Correct. We do.
And when you talk about, I mean, they had, you know, some of the old clubs, right? They had a bunch of them,
Juniors,
but Giants always stands out.
Hurricanes,
Juniors, Hurricanes. I can't remember.
I can't remember a lot of them, but Juniors and Hurricane was some people. It was clubs that I could remember.
Right.
Now, a good friend of mine used to be Junior too as well. Somebody that I have a lot of respect for, and is a good friend of yours. He doesn't live that far from me, which is Jan Stedman. You know, I always did. For me personally, Steve, I'm blessed, and why I say that is because of the people that I have around me and people that I worked with, because I got from Alvin it was Jeff, and then from Jeff it was Dunstan, Brian Williams and Kerry Jameson and Sean Cooper. You know, excellent coaches that I got the opportunity to work with. And then in the background I could always go to Jan Stedman. You know, I could sit down with him and talk to him about anything. Just the other day I went to see him because, as you know, he came back, and went to see him and talk to him a little bit, you know. And of course football came up, you know, because that's Jan, and his brain is still amazing, you know. So it's great to have those people that you could talk to at any point in time. And now when Hannibal joined the executive, you could talk, you could speak to him as well.
Right. But you guys know, you guys are Giants, of course, but you still fighting San Fernando, Club Sando for the best players, of course, and the best players would probably want to go there because they're in Tier 1 and you're Tier 2.
Yeah, that will always happen. You know, you can't stop that. And as I said, we are not a club that has a sponsor, because Club Sando still have some form of sponsorship. But Steve, in general, I think it's difficult with sponsorship, even at that level, you know, because you don't find that corporate San Fernando supports it the way you would like them to support. You know, I don't know why that is. I don't know if it's because of the present state of football in our country, you know, but hopefully we'll be out of that whole normalization committee soon, and we could get back to normal. What I say, normality.
Yeah. Well, it's a combination of all of that you just mentioned, because people don't want to put the money in. They had really issues with that back in the day, maybe. And back in the day, too, it's really the companies, like the big companies that run that, and they would hire some of the footballers, and they would let them play football for teams like Giants and stuff. But it's so different now.
It is.
So it's very difficult. I know. I've been through it in Civic Center. And people don't know how much money you guys put in your pocket to take out to
it's very
help a guy.
difficult. Yeah.
And so, I mean, you could talk about that. I mean, you know, there's players who just come and want some money to help their family, to eat. And you have to do it.
Yeah. We, as I said before, we try, to pay them a stipend. It is, to be honest with you, there are times when, as a coach, you have to take the emotions out of it because you have to train, But I mean, I know I'm one of those coaches that get involved with my players in terms of knowing what's going on in their outside life, where they work and that kind of thing, and knowing what they do, and then coming to ask them to do what they have to do in the evenings. It's not easy. You understand? Sometimes with a pro league team, you might say, okay, I get up in the morning, and that's your job, you go to work, I mean, these guys come in the evening after a long, hard day, and you have to push them. You don't have a choice, and I'm one of those coaches, and like I said, probably because of my relationship with Alvin and John and stuff, I believe in fitness. So it's a lot of work that you ask them to do. But to be honest with you, these guys have done what you ask them to do when it comes to those things, right? They really put their best foot forward, and that's all you can ask, and you let the chips fall where they may.
I'm sitting here talking to you now, and it's only now it dawned on me that because I know Point and the surrounding areas is oil and gas. That's where we make our money. That's what the kind of companies that work, and those are the ones we would go to try to help players. But what you do in San Fernando? What is the main source of income in San Fernando area? Since petrol went down, of course.
I have, at present, yes, I have no idea. I mean, it's construction, probably.
General construction
probably general construction.
Factories and stuff. They don't have no
probably. I mean, that I would probably think it's construction might be the main source of income in South now.
I was trying to say, well, you guys can go to.
I mean, as you know, heritage does exist still. I mean, Paria, but it's still. I feel it's construction or energy.
Yeah. So there's no target group that you can go to say, well, hire a couple of players and do this, or stores maybe in San Fernando.
Well, the thing is that presently the players that play for Sando Giants, they come from all over. It's not just San Fernando players. All right, and fortunately all of them work, because we have players, as I said, from Sando, from Penal, Debe, Labre, Point. We have a player who comes all the way from Westmoreland. We have a player who comes from Santa Cruz. You understand? And, kudos to them because they could choose to go to Queen's Park. They could choose to go to Harlem because those clubs, I have another player that, Trevon comes from Diego Martin. So these guys could choose, and they choose San Fernando, and we appreciate that so much, but it is difficult. It is very difficult,
And that's good. I mean, we down in Point, we so passionate about our home boys and homegrown players, and we try to do as much as we can to keep them home instead of running around. But you have to do what you have to do to survive.
Yep, correct is absolutely right.
Right. All right. So right now you standing on top of the league with one team and only a couple of goals difference make you guys different, first and second. And last season, you guys, tell me what you did last season. And
last season, we reached the top 6 and we lost in the quarterfinals.
Okay.
So this year, and some of the players are still there from last year. So I think when they look at everything and they say, okay, you know what, we're gonna go after it this year.
And you guys think you can make it this year?
Yeah, we pushing really hard for it.
So a championship and the celebration, because you haven't planned that yet.
Exactly.
A championship and a celebration would be great.
And seeing that next year is 1975, it's 75 years. One of the things would be great is to win Tier 2 and defend the title next year.
Right.
You know, in the 75th anniversary of the club. That would be fantastic.
The players know that?
Yeah, they know it's 75 years. They are aware of it, you know. But it's one step at a time. I always try to think about one game at a time. I don't think 6 and 7 games down the road. I always tell my players because we train 3 days a week, that we have 3 days to prepare for that game on the weekend. You know, and I take it one step at a time, one game at a time. And I think most of the guys think like that too as well. We don't study if we're going to play whoever in the next 4 to 5 weeks. You know, it's what's happening now. And for me, that's the best way to deal with it.
Yeah, but so we're going one day or one game at a time, but we're doing that so we can win it.
Yeah, correct.
And not, you know, not come second. There's no...
The main thing to get here is home court advantage, because the way the league is set up, 1 and 2 go directly into the semifinals.
Right.
You understand? So once we stay between there, that's what we're looking at.
How you look at Giants now, because professional football is you get paid to win. There's nothing else. You get paid to win, and that's what you do.
Yeah.
So
That's
how you
the
look at
name of
Giants as in that regard? You get stipend to win, or stipend to be part of this organization, or stipend to stay?
At this point in time in Giants, we pay a stipend based on winnings. All right. What Dr. Henderson has done over the years is that if the club wins titles and we get money, we share a portion of it with the players as well, because that's the best we could do. All right, but we give them a stipend once we win, and when we draw, we give them a stipend as well. Obviously, at this point in time, because we have no sponsor, if we lose, they don't get anything. But when we win the tournaments, once we win the tournaments, we share part of the proceeds with the team.
Right. Okay. I want to know, when we come back, we have to take a break, but when we come back, I want to know how you prepare these guys mentally to play football when you have all these things pulling against you as salaries and different things, and location and all that, geographic location and all that. All right, viewers, we'll be right back after the short break.
Change chart TV to the sound boy, better stay calm, be cool.
Hi, I am Nigel. Quote Me Today is your daily motivational segment to start your day right. Join me Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. right here on NCBN. Remember, wake up with a smile. Today is your day.
That's why when we festin', we just bet hard when we jammin', we just jam down when we drinking, man is strong rum, hey. Pop a bottle right now when we festin', we just bet hard when we jammin', we just jam down when we drinking, man is strong rum, hey. Pop a bottle, push up your hand.
Okay, welcome back, viewers. Nicholas, before the break, we were talking about how we keep players because it's very difficult, and they're all over the place and stuff. So, what's your secret, man? Give me the magic to make that happen.
I think location has always been an issue, especially when we came out of Skinner Park, right? So that's why I was saying before, it's great to get it back. Sometimes it's friendship in the team. You know, you might know a player who playing for the team, and they say, you know, so by so, you know, come. Players, every player that come into Giants, obviously they come in with the fact that they want something, you know, and in terms of a stipend, you understand? We generally get the players who are above SFA, but just below the Pro League. But there have been players who, because of the type of jobs they have, they can't go to the Pro League to play for a Pro League team, and they would not give up their jobs, which which I think we all understood, you know. So from my standpoint, you know, I try my very best to keep talking to my players, have a little bit more of a personal relationship with them, try your best to manage them, find out what is an issue, because remember, some players will have vehicles, have gas, they're going to and from wear and tear on their vehicle, you know. Because look, for example, tomorrow we go to play Civica practice game, and we wouldn't be hiring a maxi. We only hire a maxi for games, so the guys and then we all carpool and we go down together. You know, so it is wear and tear, it is what it is, you know. We just get, I think Giants is a blessed club because we just get the job done. We just face it, we deal with it. When we play away games, we try to provide meals to the players. As I said, we have a maxi, you know, and the maxi man and all, I was telling one of the guys on Saturday, I say, you know, it's a good thing they understand football because of how they move when the team is out, you know, because we pack everything on the maxi, the coolers, the ice, the water, the works, you know, the food. They do, the maxi taxi fellas, that's Johnny and Nigel, they don't complain about eating on the maxi, or, you know, once you keep it clean, they're okay with that, you know. And those guys have been working with us. Well, Johnny has been working with us since 2018, yes, because Dunstan recommended him. And Nigel came on last year, right? Well, he and Johnny are good friends, so when we do have Johnny, we have Nigel, you know. But they are both really, really good guys, you know, and they understand, so they don't, you know. And I'm about to say shout out to Marianne, you know. Marianne is our cook. You know, she has her own catering business, and weekends, that's the lady that cooks the Giants. She has been doing that since 2015, 16, probably 2017, you know. See, and she understands what they need, you know, carbohydrates, energy, you know, that kind of thing. So she cooks food according to that. You know, it isn't just, you know.
Right. Like you said, shout out to Jefferson Jones as well, right?
Yeah, you know, when Jeff normally comes, when he has the time, because these days he's very occupied, he trains our goalkeepers for us, you know. So that's good. Last year we also had Sydney. She'll kill me. I forget her last name. But she was our equipment manager. And Natalie Charles, who is the present physio, she was our physio last year as well.
And a lot of people who looking at us here doesn't realize, because I know what you're going through. And another season coming up, and we have no idea where we're getting a penny from. We just have to grow day by day. We live like Rambo. And we keep going day by day to get these guys on board. And sometimes it's so hard because they feel like they're ungrateful, but it's just the facts of life.
Well, that's the reality, you know. We start our season like that, not knowing where anything will come from, but we continue working and we continue doing, you know. And Our executive, I guess we are closely knit because of that. You know, we all try to do whatever we can, you know, because it's all about keeping Giants going, you know. But as I said before, you know, if we get the sponsor or sponsors,
Right.
you know, I mean, everybody's zeroing on sponsors, and if we get a sponsor, I like sponsors with an S, because if something goes wrong, you know, at least you are able to look to the next one and you still have something going. But if you have one person alone sponsoring your team and then you pull it, then you're in trouble again.
You know, it's so difficult to keep the noise out. When I say the noise, the ones who has no clue, the people who influencing the young people, when you're trying to do something for them and keep them off the streets and try to provide a way out to change the thought process or to build them as footballers or to get them somewhere. Talking about them, you know, they ain't doing nothing for you.
Excuse me.
And that is the kind of noise I can't take. I don't know what about you.
No, I can't take that either because, I mean, first of all, I'm a father, you know, and in 2019, I coached Karapi Chima East in the Premiership. And that was one of the issues because I started to get the impression in general that we need to remember that children in school are student athletes, not the other way around.
Right.
You understand? And my boys, my first son went to Pres. My other two boys, they went to NAPS. And one of my sons who wanted to play football, you know, because at certain times he did not want to go and play because it would have affected his education, you know, for a number of reasons. And we said, okay, you know, because we need to remember we want these children to get scholarships and good scholarships, you know, well taken care of scholarships because they are part scholarships, you know, and we have to impress on the children and them that they have to do their work, you have to study, you know, and then also you make the time to do your extra activities, you know. My wife, for example, was a dancer, you know, and she's a teacher now. And, you know, for people who don't know that, when she goes to class and a child sits down in her class and says, well, we went yesterday and I couldn't do your homework, she's upset. Because there were times when she would go to dance, Steve, and the 1, 2 o'clock in the morning is when she's going to perform. But she would take her school books with her and sit in her van and do her homework, right? And if they reach back home 4 o'clock, her parents would wake her up by 6, right? Because she went to Naprima, her sister went to Mudsec, right? They're just a year apart. That's the older ones. And it's because they're off to school. And they were never late. So you can't come and we need to instill those type of discipline in the children now, and it is not being done. You understand? We leave it into football and say, okay. Or sometimes people say, why don't go and play a sport? You understand? And you say football. Steve, as you know, football is a very intelligent sport. You understand? So don't just say it and make it sound so casual, and sometimes I get upset for that. Because to me, you're not accepting our sport the way we love it. You know?
You're right. I think, and it's something hard to teach. And the discipline, you can teach that. They have to come with it, and you try to guide them down the right way, but they don't. And the mental strength to have to endure. Sometimes you go and you know you feel like you can't go another step, but you still have 4 or 5 steps in you, and those are the things that we can't teach in this, but we can try to get them to understand. And it's so difficult. That's the part of the game that's very difficult.
It is very difficult. And you see, because we are in a semi-pro environment and you're asking them to be professionals, you know, because, I mean, the days might be different because our pro team might train 4 or 5 days. As I said, we train 3. But the intent of the work is the same thing when you're doing our drill. You know,
Right.
it's the same work. If you watch two and you look at the drills, it's the same work you're asking them to
Same,
put out.
yeah.
The amount of days, though, is less. You know, so you're asking them to bring that when they come in. And it isn't easy for them, and it is mentally challenging at times, you know, because you would get a group that's focused, you know, and then you get a group that, you know, they just want to make the team.
Yeah.
You understand? And sometimes it's good when you have a bigger base, because when you have those, you bring the ones that focus just like the other players, you know.
You always have a few players who is like that.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that bothers me a little bit with my professionals is that you come late and then you say, well, I just got home from work. You're a professional, man. Will you tell me what to work? My job come first, right? And this kind of thing. But you try to understand, because we don't pay them money, but they're the ones who demand it, and those are the ones who demanded the biggest
Yeah.
salary.
Yeah, it happens
keeps
with us players. They come in from work. Sometimes you make a sheet, you know, and you make it up. And with the new rules they have now, where you have to submit your the names of your players 3 hours before a game. And in the environment that I am in, you know, you could make a 11, and a player could call you on the day you already had in the sheet, coach, man, they call me out to work.
Yes.
Right, because we have police officers, for example, who plays with us.
Right.
So if he gets called out, right, and because of an emergency and whatever, and he's in that 11, I have to take him out. He can't come back after him and come back into the team or anything like that. Once you take him out the 11, that's it.
Yeah.
He's out for the game.
There's a substitution.
You can't
come back.
You can't come back at all. That's it. So you lose a player, and you lose, you know. So it is difficult at times to deal with, Steve, but we just have to do what we have to do. That's the rules, and that's what we have. So
sometimes party selection might leave a guy out who is iffy because you're not sure that he could be at the game. So he doesn't get selection.
yeah, and sometimes you try to get the players and them to understand that, because you tell them, listen, if you know you're going to work before I pick the 20 man for the game, you know, let me know now. You know, but, you know, sometimes, as I say, on the day is when they get called out, and there's nothing you could do.
So what's the perfect world for you? What would you hope for, that so everything, if you can wake up tomorrow and everything is laid out, what would that be?
For Giants, the perfect world for me is just to get a sponsor.
A sponsor?
Yeah, I think that what we have in terms of now, my assistant coach Julian, we just call him Twin, and we have a good rapport going. We have the technical director in Dunston, but once we get a proper sponsor, I think that will help Giants a great deal, because it will be easier to flow. Because, for example, sometimes even our equipment, Hannibal and them will send stuff for us, you know, from Hawaii. He will send it, or maybe it's the players sometimes too. They will send stuff for us, you know, so it's not always we can buy, you know. And I must say a shout out to Sportway, you know, Sports Outlet, sorry. Mitra has gone above and beyond in assisting Giants. His patience is amazing, and he always helps the club, you know, so that is one gentleman I must remember.
Well, you're not a greedy fellow, because I would say sponsor, we own Skinner Park, and all that kind of big stuff, and be for a perfect one.
Well, where the Skinner Park thing is concerned, as I said, presently, the current mayor, you know, Mr. Paris, his mindset was always to get back football in Skinner Park, in whatever way, however it is done. And as I said before, we officially got the ground even to train on to as well, you know. So it's just to find out if the weekends are available now for our match days. But at least we are actually starting from today to be at Skinner Park.
Because I've heard a lot of sports teams and organizations complain about the stadiums now they build is really for not for sports, it's really for entertainment and all that. And how do you feel about it?
In terms of Skinner Park, right? I mean, it was given to the people for both sports and culture. So you have to expect culture. But I think from me being a coach, I think what I would like happen is that on the ground, like if you go to a Marshall Montano concert in the stadium, there's a matting that they put on the surface. I would like to see that happen in Skinner Park because then the ground does not get damaged.
Protect it.
Yeah, it protects it, you know. So at the end of the day, if that same thing could apply, because when you finish all your events, we now have to go there because you don't want bottles. Like in the past years, before they refurbish, you have a Feto, you have something at Skinner Park. If you go on that ground, you can see the bottle in the ground. If a player fall there, you know what's going to happen.
Right.
You know, so those things is what you don't want to happen. Martin maybe might help it, you know. But thankfully, this year, it wasn't too bad. And when we went back to look at the park and thing, everything was fine.
So you just don't mind, you don't mind sharing as long as they respect
you respect the ground.
Right.
It's something that like for example, me personally, I don't like the condition of our stadiums. I feel it should be taken care of in a much better way. But remember, I looking at it strictly from a football standpoint and as a coach. And we love this sport, and because we love it, you know, like I will never drive a truck on a football field.
Right.
And there are people who do that, you know, so.
All right, we have 1 minute. Any closing remarks?
Well, first of all, on behalf of the club, thank you for this interview. Second, I would like corporate Trinidad to think about coming on board and helping our club. We have been around for many, many years, and we intend to be, if God grants us that, another 75 years. Maybe we wouldn't be around, but maybe the children or whoever can take it on and do what they need to do.
Nicholas, I want to thank you for being here, and give my regards to your whole organization.
Thank you, Steve.
Appreciate you, bud.
Same here, man.
All right. NCBN, thanks for the opportunity. Viewers, thanks for tuning in. I know you do that every Tuesday night at 8 o'clock. And keep watching. We do have a Facebook page. You can check us out. And we do have an email address, fieldofdreamstt@gmail.com, where you can drop us a line. This show has ended. Go in peace. I'm Steve David. Good night.